Skavetta music.
What's going on, folks? It is me, it is I am him, it is Space Cadet, and you are now tuned into the SpacedOut Podcast. And today we have AI the Anomaly. She is Anomaly herself. She's an amazing artist, songwriter, poet, entrepreneur. I'm gonna forget a lot. Teacher. Buffalo's new poet. I don't know how to say it.
All good.
How do you say it? Laureate.
Some people say laureate. Some people say laureate.
So congratulations on that. I wanted to start off with that because you were talking about it this morning, and like you said, we had Jillian on the podcast, and that's an amazing. She created something amazing, and now you get to stand into that spot in that spotlight, which is amazing. Can you tell the people what the laureate does for the city?
Yeah, of course. So poet laureate is something that has been established for a long time within our history, within the country, but even outside of. A lot of cities have them that stand in this position to utilize literary arts in order to say something that will be an impact on the city or on a culture, if you will, usually speaking to whatever is going on in society, in the city, or what have you. And yet Jillian advocated that we, just like a lot of other cities and spaces, have the role. And so we can have someone who can utilize that art in order to connect people, uplift people. And for me, my whole thing is, with everything that I do, I'm trying to ignite thought and expand perspectives. So I'm going to use this the same way I use every other, area and avenue that I use within my life. Same way. Yeah.
I feel that. I like it. What you guys are doing is amazing.
Thank you.
It's gonna I like just reading them, just reading the poems.
Yeah.
Yeah. So poetry came first.
Poetry, right?
Shit, I think about when I'm twisting up. How shit would have been different with no switching up. Why every time I turn around, niggas not around. When I had them stacks, they was trying to live it up. That's why I treat them all the same like they did to us, did to me.
Hey, what's going on, folks? I just wanted to stop the podcast real quick and thank one of our sponsors, the Struggle Compound.
Turn to green. I've been a boss for the titles, nigga idle. Put a nigga in position just so he can spite you, slight you, get close, come with hugs, put the knife through. Hard times make you feel niggas never.
Located at 2400 Seneca Street, Suite number 4.
Ask about work, niggas probably get amnesia. Talking love and money, ain't nobody give me neither. Looking at niggas counting up, that shit was like a teaser. Sick to your stomach when you live with regrets. Dollar bills rule the world, but they kill for respect. Thought stick stones hurt me, I was building a nest. To the label cut me a check that fulfill my regrets. Drowning in dark liquor, filling a mess.
The Struggle Compound is Buffalo's original recording studio, barbershop, lash and aesthetics, clothing store, and more. Stop into the Struggle Compound today and tell them Space Cadet sent you.
Like who gon' stop this shit when it's really meant? Nobody. Me and Ricky like Tony Ayo and 50 Cent. He in the truck, I take the drop when we pulling through. We don't do vests no more, the cars book.
Writing came first.
Writing came first?
For me. The art of writing and utilizing writing as a mechanism for expression. So I was young. When I was younger, I was going through a lot of stuff and I had to go to counseling to go, kind of sort through my emotions. And the counselor was like, I see that you're having a hard time expressing yourself. Here's a pen. Here's some paper. Write it down. I was about 6 or so. And I was first just drawing pictures, then developing that into writing. And I just fell in love with this like magic of being able to create characters, create stories, and have my emotions in it, kind of explain what it is that I'm feeling, but nobody knew it was me. So I kind of got to hide behind my words.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with that to the point where I wrote plays. I wrote my first play in 7th grade called Rich Kid, directed it, performed at Lorraine Academy, and then went from there to being part of the Richmond Speaking Contest, which is like statewide, and they have them in different spaces. And I won that, like being able to speak and learn, you know, how to express myself is really dope, because coming from a space where I was told that, you know, I'd be a failure to thrive, diagnosed as emotionally handicapped, all these things and labels that they place on young people that come from urban contexts, that come from, you know, certain spaces of the city that have barriers that they're born into. Like I was born to a woman, beautiful, creative woman who chose, you know, substance abuse to fill her voids that displaced me, my sister, my brother. And being that we come from these places, of course, they're going to place labels and place their statistics. It's understandable, but at the same time, what happens is community does this thing that it does, you know, and then it kind of affects change or evokes change through different types of ways. And creative arts was that way. So writing came from the community, you know, and I never stopped, you know, never stopped using it.
Yeah.
But yeah, writing came first, then poetry, then rap. But rap is just rhythm and poetry. It's just taking your poetics and putting them inside of beats per measures and creating structure and musicality. But, you know, I never stopped doing poetry. It's just different forms.
Now, is it difficult to not swear in your raps when you're like emotionally attached to it? Mm-hmm. And you know what I mean? Because sometimes those words is like powerful, but you not using them and being able to use other words, because I literally cannot. I don't, there's no other words that I just, they come out. I was in the military, so they come out all the time. Understood. And I'm like, yo, I need to find other words. You find those words to fill those voids. Yeah. How is that?
You know what? I'd say I have to go back to childhood. My mother, the one who adopted me, is my mom. She raised us to be very engaged in church and faith. Like that was our upbringing.
Right.
And she didn't curse in the household, so it wasn't something that was a natural thing for me to do. Of course, you know, you got people who curse in school and stuff like that. But being that, like, I was like so drawn to pleasing God that I just didn't want to curse. But of course, like in my high school years, I cursed a lot. And it felt unnatural to do it. But I felt like I had to connect with everybody else.
Right.
And so as I got older, I just made a choice that, like, not really, it doesn't feel right. And I'd rather use other ways to express myself. And there's so many different words to use and to pull in. And I'm an avid reader. So I feel like the more I read, the more I am able to place words into my bank, pull out in order to express myself. I always felt like, okay, I could say this, but there's like 20 other ways to say it to allow for a lot of people to understand and feel it. I think everyone has a choice. You got freedom of speech. Mm-hmm. That's how you express yourself. That's how you express yourself.
Right.
I just express myself in what way is natural for me. And it's natural for me not to necessarily go that route. Yeah. You know, it just doesn't come. But I'm going to be real. There's times where it's like, I feel like this is what I want to say right here. Now, I need to say this. But because I created a brand around not speaking in that way, I want to stay true to that. You know, if I feel angry or aggressive in some way and I want to say that, then, you know, I may shift it, because like I said, there's many different ways to say it. There's sometimes I need to say something strong and powerful. Like in one song in Preach, I forget the lyrics off the top, but I was trying to make a point about women in hip hop and how there's certain things that you can do to go viral and to be accepted by the masses within the mainstream. And I choose not to go that way. And so it's like, where do I fit? You know, I think it was along the lines of saying like I could basically strip and slide down a pole. For the most part is what I'm saying in a sense, or let it drop or something like that. But that's not me though. You know, that would be me stepping outside of myself to become something else in order to be accepted by the masses. And I don't, and in a culture where we talk about be true to yourself, that wouldn't be true. I wouldn't be true to myself. I would be just doing something because I feel like it's going to get me accepted. And that doesn't feel right. So I do what makes sense to me based off of my perspective, my perceptions in life, and then just let it ride and let it flow. And wherever it leads me there, you know? But yeah, I choose, I make an active decision to be true. And whatever it is that comes out, this is me, you know?
Yeah, no, I find it difficult for a lot of people to do what you do. And it's like the way you do it, phenomenal. Now,
thank you.
Going back, so do you remember foster care at all or anything like that?
Oh yeah, of course.
So how was that growing up?
It's pros and cons to being in foster care. I have an experience to where I was only in maybe I was only in 2 or 3 homes.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of my life was in the home that I was chosen to become a daughter to my mom. You know, displacement has its effects on you. So growing up without blood relatives, understanding where you come from, like my mother, who I was birthed from, like not knowing who that was, not knowing who my father was, had its toll on me growing up. But I did have an individual who sacrificed. And so like, that's my mom, you know, as parents, it's not like we're perfect. You know, she has pros and cons. She's coming from a space. I was a rough kid. I gave her a lot of hard times, you know, getting suspended from school, getting kicked out of school. She had to go down to City Hall to get me back into school. And she had her struggles, and we had our struggles, but such is life, you know. So foster care had its pros and cons, you know. It was tough and it was beautiful at the same time. And I learned so much. I look back and I'm like, oh, all of that is gold for me. Right. You know, I molded it and shaped it how I needed to be who I am.
I definitely feel that. No, you know? For real.
And that's for anybody outside of foster care.
Right.
Like just regular life.
Just regular parents.
Right.
Some parents ain't, because my father was disabled and he took all of his anger out on me, out of all the kids. And I like felt that throughout childhood. But then it was like as life went on and I got older, he passed away while I was deployed to Iraq. And I like after that point, it was like, and I grew up and now I'm grown. I'm like, I needed all of those ass whoopings he gave me. Because if he didn't, I'd be in those streets right now. I wouldn't have went to the military. I wouldn't have done the things that I did in life to become who I am. Yeah. Or who I'm becoming. Because that shit, like I definitely needed that. I definitely needed to be grounded all those days in the house.
Right.
And it's like, then you think about it and you're like, when you're a kid, you're like, oh, this parent sucks. This parent's an asshole. Like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
They're doing what they need to do. I'm trying to teach my daughter who just turned 13 that. And it's like, I'm like already like, oh
Parenthood
my God.
is the toughest hood.
Yeah.
Right?
Like like I did not know being a parent was going to be this hard.
And there's no manual for it.
Some parents be making it look so easy. And you just be like, how?
Yeah, it's not.
It's like, I thought my dad knew how to be a dad because he did it before some shit. Like, I thought like, no, my dad was just doing it for the first time.
Right.
And he killed it. Like, and
day by day.
Not ask for another mom or dad ever. Like, they the dopest. They taught me a lot. And they put me in my place in life. And now I'm striving. I feel like I'm striving. Like, and that's all that matters. It doesn't, I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm doing what I want to do.
That's what life is.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's up.
So where did you get the name from?
AI?
Yeah.
So when trying to brand myself as far as music is concerned, I had to think about what is something that I felt like I could live with and have a legacy with, that I felt I would be true to and would never feel as though, oh, I got to switch it up. AI is the first 2 letters of my name. My name is Aitina, A-I-T-I-N-A. And so the acronym AI is all in. And I feel like that's what I do in my life. Everything that I involve myself in, I'm going all in. I'm giving it my all. And then Anomaly, the definition of that is the deviation from the rule. And so for within my life, like I shared with you, like being a foster kid, the statistics are crazy for us and that come from that space. Like according to the statistics, I'm supposed to be in jail.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be, uneducated, not going to college. I'm supposed to be, doing everything that they say is according to their, education and research and things like that. But I deviated from that rule. So the rule was, oh, you're a foster child. You come from the east side of Buffalo. You come from this. You're brown skin. You this and that. You didn't have your father in your life or whatever the case is. So the rule for you is that you won't be able to strive or thrive. But I deviated from that.
Yeah.
And I've been able to strive and soar within my life because of a lot, because of community, because of individuals that believed in me. But really, first and foremost, is because of my faith in God. That's what keeps me, that's my standard for living. And that's what keeps me grounded, If it wasn't for that, like I'd be all over the place. I wouldn't know how to stay focused. So you got faith, family, and community for me. And everything goes after that.
That's powerful.
Yeah, it is. It's why I'm sitting here.
Yeah. Nah, yeah. I feel that.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, getting the Grammy, how did that feel?
That's crazy. I'm telling you, like that's pretty wild. I'm featured on a Grammy award-winning album.
Yeah.
And it feels really great. Like at first I'm like, I'm a little weird when it comes to some stuff. I do have this like nerdy, kind of squarish, if you will, ideology where it's like, I just care about, like I really truly just care about my family, my faith, family, community for me. So when accolades and honors and awards come about, yes, I'm happy, but how do I explain? Like, it's not really the basis of what I'm living for, but I have to acknowledge the fact that it is a result of my hard work. And so I take that and I'm like, you know what? I worked really hard. I grinded really hard to get to where I am today. I had to go through a lot of stuff, understanding how to, looking for hours for beats on YouTube, trying to find what sound made sense, not having enough money to pay for the beat, so I had to lease it, and then finding out other people got the same beat. You feel me? And then trying to figure out, okay, well, it is what it is. Let me keep going. Trying to figure out and navigate through the music process. Staying up for hours and hours, trying to get the song just right. Trying to figure out like, okay, now that I got this song, now what? Like, oh, there's this whole other world. I have to publish. I got to get this stuff published. I have to get on the distribution site. Mm-hmm. Learning about that process, learning, I have to polish myself for a brand. I have to have a home, a website for people to go to. I have to establish myself. Learning and failing and hitting brick walls and working and being who I am and not compromising on who I am. Sometimes that's difficult, watching everybody soar because they did a song that's like everybody, that's what everybody's doing, but I'm not truly feeling like, yes, I can make that a song that sounds just like everybody else, but that don't sit right with me. Being okay with that feeling and just carrying on. That's years and years to get to the point where it's like, Lecrae reaches out to me and says, hey, I think you're dope. I'd love for you to be on this song with me on this project. What do you think? And me being like, yeah, let's do it. And then giving it my all and being still true to myself. And then taking it further, creating a visual for it and just doing whatever I could. Then to find out like all of that work gets me that kind of honor. And then thinking about the fact that he allowed for himself to say, let me allow for other artists to come on my platform, to give them this opportunity. Yeah, I'm pretty honored. I feel great about it. Yeah. I have to like think of it in that way. Can't just be like, oh yeah, it's this little thing. It's not. That's huge. coming from where I come
that.
from. You feel me?
I'll be like, oh, I got this friend. Okay, yeah.
You be caught up in the.
I'll be like, oh yeah. I'll be like, yes, and I'll be happy at first. Then in my mind, in the back, be like, nah, you ain't do it yet. Shut up, sit down.
Yeah.
Go back. Like
it's like you don't want to psych yourself up, and then like it all kind of withers away.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, like I try to have that perspective. Like I've worked my behind off. Yes, I'm proud. I'm proud of me, you know, for being able to get connected into that way. Yeah.
As you should.
Mm-hmm.
Now, has anybody else hit you up? Big names that you could talk about?
I mean, big names to me are mostly within my industry. As far as music is concerned, like Lecrae is a big name to me. Derek Minor is a big name to me. Bizzle from God Over Money, which I was within that label. I did a 3-year kind of label deal with them, finished that up, went on tour with them, traveled the country with them, and, you know, created some phenomenal music. Off the top of my head, like trying to think of other people, but those are amazing individuals. There's been a lot of different people who've reached out to me that I look up to, and I'm like, oh man, that's dope.
Yeah.
But then, like for me, I also feel equally proud and excited about like being able to earn opportunities to like Citizens Bank. I got an award from them, like because of the work I do within the community. Buffalo AKG Art Museum, being able to curate at that space, like those are big to me.
I can't wait to go there.
You know,
I have not been there yet. And I'll be working too much.
And
I literally get one
too?
day off. One day.
Get out of here. One day?
Yeah.
Is this the one day?
Nah, yesterday was. Yeah, and I had to watch children all day. Like I was babysitting for my girl while she went and did what she had to do.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. She was babysitting her niece. And I was like, all right, I got her. Go do what you got to do.
Yeah.
My son was gone. I was like, oh, my day off, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Be at home doing nothing. Yeah.
That's what's up.
But,
you gotta go check it out, man.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. It really is.
Yeah. Other space, just like what they did and what they're doing, like putting in, like bringing people from Buffalo, putting their art in there.
Yeah.
Like,
there's a lot of amazing things happening there, and it's free every first Friday. If you ever want to go, if you have that day, take your kids and everything.
I go in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't work till the afternoon. Yeah. See, they open at 10. See, I'm gonna go. I gotta stop being fucking.
Yeah, you got.
Like doing too much, and then be like, oh, I should have went there.
Give them the experience. Like they have. So there's this one space when you first walk in called the Town Square or the Town Hall. And there's this Lego spot where kids can build Legos. They have this digital space. They have this one space where you can build like with these big kind of pieces, you know, art pieces or what have you. And then they have this other space for children where you can read, kind of a more quieter space. Yeah. They have a cafe, Cornelia Cafe. And then you can go into the Gunlock building and see all the art. And it's an amazing experience, you know. What's dope is my son, who's 16 now, when they were talking about how this was going to like come together and come to life, they engaged the community in these like discussions. And my son was part of that discussion, and he gave a lot of information. And they took that information on and like added some of the things that he said into their process too. It's like really dope. And he was like so little and young when they first started this conversation. Yeah. And then now he's like 16 now, you know, going through the process. That's pretty dope.
No, that is dope. That they took people's thoughts. And
it's important.
Yeah. And you're working with Villa Maria. Yeah. Yep. Which is amazing.
Yep. We got contracted with Villa Maria. So I do these original like workshops, facilitate workshops. I create curriculums, design curriculums for individuals and, you know, students to learn in different ways, like hands-on learning. So I'm working with their digital media communication students, and they're creating content and building content around this project called Tales from the Porch, which is our fourth year doing here in Buffalo, just amplifying the voices in the community. But these students are learning how to use content and, add value to that particular project. It's pretty dope.
Dope. No, and that you get to work with these young minds too is pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's amazing, and that's what Get Focused.
Yep.
So that's you. You created that.
Yep.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Get Focused Productions is like transformed in different ways as I grew. It grew, but the foundation of it has always been about amplifying voices through stories and like human first stories as a social design approach. We're trying to tackle social issues through storytelling with photography, film, and a variety of other media. And so I work with, it has transformed from me being a photographer, going out and doing all types of photography and video and carrying all of this equipment by myself to working and engaging with about 15 emerging artists and creatives and professionals within their spaces to develop in, these different story pieces for nonprofit organizations, individuals, and artists within Buffalo, but even beyond. We've done a lot of work outside of Buffalo as well. So in a nutshell, we capture through photography and film. We teach individuals how to control their story, kind of take it by the reins and say, this is my story. And then how do I share it? And then giving back to the next generation of creatives. How do I involve and engage younger individuals in the process, give them hands-on opportunities? So yeah, we do a lot.
No, that's amazing.
A lot.
That's amazing.
In different spaces. Yeah, it's kind of a niche. I'd say it's kind of a niche thing. It's not something that it's not like we do a lot of direct marketing or anything. We story market, so we share what we've done,
right? And
we gain contracts by word of mouth. I've always been a firm believer in word of mouth, which in order for word of mouth to work, you have to establish a good reputation. You have to be on point every single situation that you have. So they'll share that information with another organization or another potential client. So our work is really about building relationships, developing and going from there. Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, are you signed to anyone right now?
Right in this moment, no. But I'm independent, but I do have a distribution deal with a label called RNG. They're a label. I forget how the term is. It's not like your normal label situation where it's like you have to adhere to certain things. They support me on distributing music. Also have a publishing deal with them as well. So they handle publishing and things like that. Things that I don't have the time to do, I had to think okay, how do I get support in these circumstances? And so they do a really great job of making sure that the work that I work so hard at in creating music, it gets heard and it gets pushed as best as possible.
So you've been signed and you are independent. What do you think is better for an up and coming artist that wants to know, should I be independent or should I go get signed?
Okay, I'd say it's a couple of different things, right? So if you're an independent artist who already has traction and you're doing it and you're able to maintain it on your own, stay independent, if you can. And just think about the things that will support your independence. With labels, depending on the label and what they can give and provide for you, and you have to base it off of what it is that you're trying to do within your music career, determines what who you sign with. You know what I'm saying? So some labels operate in different ways. This is it's so many ways to go about it. It's not something that I can concretely say, oh, you should stay independent.
Right.
oh, you should, go with the label. It depends on the artist and where they are and where they're trying to go. But like I said, if you're an artist who has already gained traction and you believe that you can maintain that on your own, then keep your independence for these reasons. One, because you're able to control your brand. You're able to say when you want to drop, how you want to drop, and what way you want to drop. As long as you understand the back end of it, knowing how to drop and all of that stuff. You're also able to, you don't have to go through a process of, okay, I created the song, submit the song. All right, waiting around for you to tell me, what's next, whatever the case is. Now, some labels go through a whole long drawn out process. Then there's some labels who are like, okay, yeah, let's go. Like, the label that I was on are very open, very accommodating, and very supportive. Depends.
Right.
That's a whole conversation.
Yeah,
I need artists to ask specific questions. And
right.
Like, yo,
Yeah, because it's crazy because some of these artists like really saying, I'll sign that 360 deal. And somebody I'd rather stay independent, but they have no traction. And they could get signed and gain the traction. And then, like you did, come out of that contract. Like, fulfill your contract and keep it moving.
Yeah.
But some of them don't understand, like, that money they get paid is not for them or nothing like that.
And then not all labels. A lot of times people think label and they think money.
Right.
Like, oh, you're going to get paid from the label. The label I was with was an independent label that the main focus was just to support their artists and to utilize the range that they've gathered within their platform in order to propel other artists and to be supportive within that, structure, but also like specifically to be able to be free to talk about our faith, and in an aggressive way too. Like,
right.
There's a very aggressive way to talk about, your faith, if you will. It didn't mean like, oh man, I was on this label and I got like 6 figures from
Everybody
working with the label.
That. Yeah.
Depends on which kind of label. And just because somebody might offer you 6 figures don't mean you really got 6 figures either. You could sign and get the money. That's just a front money.
Yeah, you ain't read that at all.
You gotta pay that back. You gotta think about taxes. You gotta think about the back end. How much of you do they own? So it just depends. Before I got signed to a label, I was already an established artist and I was already a business owner who was earning. So for me, the establishment of self and understanding what it is that you want, what it is that you need, helps you make better decisions,
Right.
And so I just made the decision to work with them because I really love the label and what they stand for. And I did what I did and traveled and toured, and I got that experience with them and then moved forward.
No, I didn't even know I was listening to Christian rap the whole time. I've listened to you. The whole time. I'm just like, she's just fire. Like, everything she's saying is fire. The way she's saying it, how she's putting it together, her cadence, like everything, your patterns, everything. It's just like, how does she do it? Like, how does she learn the way that you ride on every beat? Like, that took time.
Yeah, it did.
And like you said, though, poetry is another version of like rap.
It is.
And it really is. Like, if you took the beat away.
It's the basis of it.
Yeah, if you took the beat away, and you just let someone speak it, but they spoke it in a poet way, it's poetry.
It is.
And it's beautiful. Like, you know who Sam Buck is? You ever seen?
I've heard it.
He's like, he does podcasts. He has his grandma reading West Side Gun lyrics and like Conway lyrics. And when she's reading it, you're like, she's telling it like a story, like she's reading a story. And I'm like, this shit is fire.
I think a lot of times people forget that truth about rap. It's literally rhythm, R, and A, P, poetry. Rhythm and poetry. You're just putting rhythm within the poetics. Rap and lyricism is a very hefty skill to play with words, sentence structures, metaphors, similes, imagery, to piece that together to create a story or to create a vibe or whatever the case. That takes so much skill, and some people are just like naturally gifted, and some people have to really work at that thing and educate themselves, in order to do it. It's an art form that I don't think gets the respect that I feel like it deserves. It gets respected because of all of the other like materialistic things that come from it. It's like, oh man, driving the cars and got the money, I got the
chains,
money,
all
power,
that.
respect, all of those types of things. But what happens is we forget the basis of it. It's the playing with words in order to do what? For the people to feel something, to see something, and
close
push
your
their
eyes.
imagination.
I love that. Closing my eyes and just Jay Skis,
man,
one of my favorites to do.
He's
You can
fire.
literally listen to him, and it feels like
He's
you're
an
watching
artist.
a movie in your whole mind.
He's an artist for sure.
And it's like you're like just like,
Same
how
with
does
Benny.
he do it? Yeah, Benny is
The way he
amazing.
spit.
But people sleep on him, and I think it's because I'm saying people is because people from here, because we live in the crab in a bucket city, and it's I hate it. I hate it so much. Like you go on Reddit and you read the comments that they talk about him, and they're people from Buffalo, because the last other thing be saying 716, or you click on the things and you can read their comments, and it's all comments in Buffalo, and you're like, yo, why do y'all hate on people from here when we should be building them up to make the city better than it is? Because that's the way it's going to happen. We get more artists from here to be in that status of Benny status,
Right.
and West Side Gun statuses. We're gonna be Atlanta. We're gonna be Dallas. We're gonna be LA.
Right.
All those things, because we have the talent here in this city. It's the crazy amount of talent, from rap all the way to rock.
Yeah.
There's a kid that I found the other day, Ryan Perdez. This kid's voice is like an angel, I swear. I was like, yo, where did this dude come from? He got like this deep voice, like Creed type. Like, I don't know how to he got a voice on him though, and he could play the guitar.
Wow.
You got Captivated C, who
He's
is a
fire.
multi-facet, and like she can go from rap to rock to punk to whatever you want. Yeah, she can sing. You can sing. Like, I was like, yo, I was just listening to the song, and I was, yo, her voice is of an angel. Like, yo, Jesus.
Thank
like,
you.
There's like, you love. Like, it's like, we have artists. Like, there's so many artists here in Buffalo. We could literally have a festival in Buffalo, like how Music is Art is, like for days, with all the musicians we have here.
Yeah.
And like, it would be amazing. And someone would show up for every single event.
I think so.
And
that mixed in with like visual arts too.
Yeah.
It's just a ridiculous amount of talent. And that idea of like being in the same city and like not really seeing the respect for others, that's really everywhere.
You think so?
I think it's I will say, when I step into other cities. So here's the thing. For a long time, I would just go travel, and I would perform in other cities across the country. And then I came to a point where I'm like, oh shoot, I don't really perform that much in my own city. And I was trying to figure out, like, why is that? And so I started to work, and I started to just like try my best to establish, like, hey, this is what I'm doing. You got to keep in mind, I go way back. I'm talking like, DJ Shay, Alan Cole, which is Kid Code's brother. I had a manager when I was like 16, 17, and I would go to the studio and I'll be on the radio, in different clubs, battling grown men. like Rendezvous, Sean B's, which isn't there anymore. Just these different spaces. I was doing it for a long time. And then I got older, had a child, and started to focus on like, let me get my life. You know, not to say that music wasn't part of my life. I still carried music with me, but I just shifted because I'm like, yo, I got to make moves, got to make ends meet. And I had to take care of my child. It was just me and my son for a section of time. And so my attention for music I pushed it to the side. Let me educate myself. Let me earn a consistent level of income and do what I need to do. And then, things start happening, flow back, everything comes back. And like I said, I just start performing all over and just like, oh, shoot, let me get back to my city. And so that people understand, like, this is what I'm doing. And there is this idea of same city, I call it same city syndrome. When you're in a city and people are familiar with you, they kind of see you like, oh yeah, that's just this person. That's just that person. I'm not really bothered by it. I understand it. Everybody knows, what I do to some degree. And it's in my control to make sure that I share. Like, this is what I can do. You like me to do it here? This is what, I need in order to do it. And if it doesn't work or fit within this space, then I know other places that would. And I'd say the same. I'd encourage other artists to not get discouraged by not being able to see the traction within your city. Just try to figure out ways to find the traction for who you are. And that might mean to grind and go somewhere else. It might mean go to Rochester, go to Syracuse, go to other places. Pittsburgh is not that far and they have a good scene for artistry. Cleveland isn't either. It's okay to step outside of your own city if you feel like your city isn't giving you what you feel like you need. As long as you tried all the things. It's not just, I put out this song, nobody's listening to me. I'm not getting no phone calls. Did you have a brand?
Did you, I hate when they put it up. I hate when artists, I've been trying to tell these young cats, you can't just put the song out and not do anything. Your music can't just get put out.
Yeah.
An album just can't get put out and you think they're going to listen to it. You haven't done any marketing. You're not
some type of strategy.
There's people sitting on there doing one song over and over and over again, a single, 100 times down their whole page, and it's just that song in different places. And you're like,
it's all about
and it's all about
figuring out multiple ways to multiple ways to tell the story behind that song. Exploded? Wow, that's wild. But finding multiple ways to create different perspectives off of that one song, like what I was talking about in the live. And my time is coming to an end. But in that live that I did, where I talked about engaging community. Yeah. So with the song that you'll see for the rest of this month, Bonnets and Bantus, I did that song 2022. The music video for that might have went out in 2023, but that doesn't mean it's dead.
Right.
I'm going to keep talking about the song because I believe in it, but it also involves community. I don't have to, I create, when I create something, first and foremost, I'm creating it out of passion. I'm creating it out of, this is what I need, and then I'm sharing it. And then when I create it, I'm thinking about, okay, in what ways can I utilize this opportunity to express multiple perspectives? And so with that one song, I could talk about the sonics of the song. Carolina Blue, my audio engineer, who's been doing amazing, even before even working with me, he's done work with Griselda. He's done work with a lot of different artists within Buffalo. We could talk about the sonics of just the beat itself, just the foundation of the track. Then I could talk about the lyrics of the track. But then I can talk about the life from the lyrics. What am I saying in the song? Bonnets and Bantus. Bonnet is something that I put on my hair to protect my hair. Bantus, you twist it into knots to prep. We could talk about prep and protection. As a woman, that's a whole nother conversation now that we're talking about from one song. And then go beyond that. Where did Bantus originate? In Africa, you know, where they would put rice in their hair and seeds in their hair when they would travel. You put seeds in those spaces, even braids, because you would hold those seeds in there. So when you get to a place, you always know that you're able to grow something. You always have food wherever you go. And so maybe you couldn't like have it on your person, but you can have it in your braids and you could pull those out. You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole nother conversation. But then we have the visual that showcases to you about 4 women, fierce women within my life. It's multiple women in the video, but these are women within my community who are doing dope things within the community. One of which is Gail V. Wells, who is a co-founder of Buffalo Freedom Garden. And so she infuses her education about gardening into the community, and she teaches individuals about how to garden, but how to garden yourself and also how to cultivate the land to garden. And so she takes seeds that you know what I mean? See the connection? And she plants it in the ground to grow. Then you have Gayatri Sabrian, who is a friend of mine, who is a choreographer and an artist in her own right, dances. But she creates these opportunities for young people to learn how to dance. You know, she does Bollywood dance, and she has her own studio where she allows for other dancers to utilize the space. She also does yoga. And so then you have Alonda Gathers, who runs her own nonprofit, and she does, you know, a lot of different things when it comes to young women and speaking to them and then helping them to grow and to have self-confidence in themselves. But she talks about a slew of different things. And so in the video, you see my daughter traveling to each space, not to forget DJ Lisa Lux, who is not only a DJ, but she's a mother, a wife, educator. She is a teacher within the Buffalo Public Schools. And she started a kind of sort of a collective called B-Flow Girls with DJ.
Yep, I've seen it.
With B-Girl Resolve. And so they do these workshops for young people in the community where they're teaching the elements of hip hop. And so she teaches DJing, Stacy teaches breakdancing, and then they have other women who come alongside them and teaches them different things as well. So in the video, I'm having my daughter go from one woman to the next to gain. That's like showcasing community. I want my daughter to grow. And so there's strategy behind what I'm doing. It's not just, oh, I'm going to make a song. No, I want this song to last. Not only do I want the song to last, but I want people to learn from this song. I want people to see something from this song. The other dope thing is where it was done is Birchfield Penny Art Center, which I have a lot of respect for, and they allowed me to utilize the space. Not only that, but the work on the wall comes from an artist. His name is Leroy Johnson. And if I'm saying your last name wrong, I do apologize, but I believe it's Leroy Johnson. What's Rick James? I think he's kin to Rick James. I think so. And I may be mistaken. Excuse me if I am. But Leroy Johnson had amazing work. I mean, go back and look at the music video.
I'm going to.
And you see all this beautiful work that like is colorful and unique, and it showcases community even within the work on the walls. So being able to pull this all together to showcase my community, the women within my community, the community of art. You know, Birchfield Penny does a great job of working within the community of artists and things like that. So trying to create something that's more than just this moment that I'm making a song because I want to get streams. No, not for me. For me, I want to make streams towards community, streams towards growth, development, culture, and unification. You feel me? So, yeah, I don't know where the basis of this conversation was going, but like that's what I mean. That's what we're talking about. That one song is going to live forever.
Yeah.
It's going to live forever because I invested my time into the thought process, strategizing how I'm going to make that one song live forever.
Timeless music. Timeless music is the shit.
It is.
I love it. I appreciate you coming
Absolutely.
through today. Where can I find you at?
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, all of those different places. AI the Anomaly, AI the ANOMALY. AITheanomaly.com. And then as far as Get Focused Productions, Focus is spelled FOKUSD. On Instagram, all over. Some places I'm not on TikTok, some other spots, but my main space is IG, my website, basically,
Yeah.
and YouTube.
I appreciate you coming through.
I appreciate you having me.
I hope you great success.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
Same for you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Appreciate
It's the Wiz. Skip that music.